5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Say kids, what time is it?
Listen to this.
My vibe is just helping people. The bottom line is just, there's a lot of people that struggle with what they have to do and don't know where to turn to, and I just help them solve those complex problems that are, that they're challenged with. So whether it's a website or email or ad campaign, logo, naming a company, whatever, I just, I've come across a lot of business people that are very much experts at what they do, whether it's building tables or shooting video or, running an aquarium, it doesn't matter, or a bookstore. They're very good and expert at what they do, but they just need help when it comes to their marketing, and that's really what I'm passionate about. And it goes back to my father and his business, where he started his own company, and I saw that he was very good at what he did. He had a lot of experience, a lot of years of experience doing what he did, and I just saw that, not to say that he struggled per se, but he was just challenged with certain things, and it would be great if he had somebody to turn to that could help him with, be it websites or be it logos or ad campaigns or just those kinds of services, and that's what I ended up wanting to do. It took me 15 years. I've been in the company now for 5 years, and before that I ran an agency out of Alberta for 5 years. But before that, it took me 10 years of work, of experience to get to where I am, and it's great, and I'm all the better for it. But ultimately, that's really the root of my vibe. It goes back to my father and to my schooling. I went to the Asper School of Business, and there I learned a great deal about theory and a lot about teamwork and working with other students. But most importantly, I learned about public speaking and just those soft skills that are necessary in what I do every day. I meet with new clients pretty much every single day. I meet with existing clients every single day, but just those kinds of skills are so important. And so one of the things I did in university was I ran for class president, and so in doing that, I was naturally an introvert, so I'm not very comfortable in a crowd, or at least I wasn't way back when. And so I ran for class president to bring myself out of my shell a little bit, and so it was on purpose because I knew where I wanted to go, but at the same time I knew I needed to expand my skills, and so in school I really wanted to push myself beyond my comfort zone, and that's one of the things I did was run for class president, and I guess that sort of set the tone for just pushing myself and identifying what I wanted to do. And it was shortly after school that I sort of did a big career assessment and understood what I wanted to do and what kind of company I wanted to work for. And I sort of defined the kinds of businesses, whether it's technology or air transportation or manufacturing or professional services. I just knew I wanted a place where I could work on a bunch of different things. I didn't have to own my own company at all. I just wanted to help other business owners do what they do best, and to help people that are worthy and that need the help. I first discovered my vibe, I think it was like my second job out of university. I was working at a company, and I had to really assess what I wanted out of life and what I wanted for myself as an individual. So I read a book called What Color's My Parachute, and it really helped me to understand who I was and what kinds of jobs I wanted to work. And it really spoke to me about where my path was going to go and what I'm interested in. And one of my core philosophies is never to take a job for the money. So I never had, but what I wanted to do was learn the skills that would get me to where I was going. So it was in that period, after that job where I did that audit, it was, I'm going to say 1997. So I know it's a little while ago, but at that time I understood myself quite well, and I knew where I wanted to go. And I would say for the last 8 years, I felt that not to say that I've achieved what I wanted, but I felt that what I'm doing now is actually what I want to be doing. So, and it's very, I feel good about it. Since 1997, so what's that, 15 years? I want good people to be serviced properly, and I want them to succeed. I don't want to see people that are good, hardworking people, get not succeed because of not having the support that they need. So that's what my advice all about, is just helping those in need. And that comes from a philosophy as well of not just helping business owners that are looking to go from a point of happiness to extreme success. It's actually I have an important philosophy of giving back to the community. So there's causes that we believe in, whether it's Community Vibes or Inner City Youth Alive or the Museum for Human Rights. These are all causes that we've strategically we want to give back to, and they're important for us. So whether it's the youth of our community or in the inner city or human rights, these are causes that we feel are important for us as a group, and for me as an individual as well, and for my family, personal and professional. Are you feeling my vibe?
Hey Paul, how you doing?
Good. Hey Jared.
Good to see you.
Good. Nice to see you too.
So I want to talk about you had mentioned a little bit of a revolution in some of the intake here, and I want to talk about that. 6P marketing is your baby. To me it's revolution, and I want to know what the 6 and the P is all about. What does that stand for?
Well, in marketing, there's what's known as the 4 P's of marketing. So product, place, price, and promotion.
Right.
That's marketing theory. And so what we've basically stood on is people and passion can make a big difference in the world. And when a company has people and passion working with their 4 P's, it really makes a lot of difference.
Right.
So I'm sure you've had a bad experience with a company, whether it's a store, whether it's a cabinet company or a furniture manufacturer, and you call and try to get somebody to come out and fix it or resolve your problem. You can sense when service isn't there, when people are unresponsive or just don't care about their jobs, and that has a lot of impact on a brand and on a marketing strategy. So we try and help companies align their internal branding with their external branding and just make sure it all makes sense. So.
Wow. So how do you engage companies? Like, who are your first clients here? You work with a host of different people, but when was your first? What have been some of your really wow moments when you're working with a company, and who are some of the non-for-profits that you really help?
Well, we work with a mix of companies. So we work with small and some big. We work with some not-for-profit. For us, it's not a matter of size that really makes whether we're happy or not with it. At the end of the day, it's the impact that we're making, either with the business owner and their satisfaction, or with the results that they get as a result. So whether it's not-for-profit or business, really, we're very happy with whether we get results or whether the client's happy with it. So we work with many small businesses. Our first client was Ibex Payroll. We continue to work with our second client, which is Legacy Bones Group, and Ibex, which is an HR consulting practice and recruitment firm. We work with many professional service companies, Pivot Advisory Management Consulting Company, not-for-profits, including Community Vibes. We helped a little bit last year, and Inner City Youth Alive is a current client where we're very proud of the work that we're doing with them right now in terms of helping the inner city youth of Winnipeg. We work with the Friends of the Human Rights Museum. Very happy about that. Human rights is a great cause to be helping. We do work with technology companies like Protegra Technologies.
Wow.
So there's a mix of bigger companies, small. We work with the Asper School of Business. We worked with, we work on their marketing. We work on their websites. We do some great work. So I'm very happy with the mix of clients and companies, and I'm sure I'm forgetting many of them. Small manufacturers, home builders, contractors, all kinds of them, and many are just single person kind of companies, and some are 5 employees, some are 10, and some are 100.
So I love the passion that you described, because as one of the P's in the 6 here, because it's something that I share as well, right? I think passion is,
and that's quite clear. You and Alicia are awesome.
We love it over at Community Vibes for passion. But how do you develop that in your clients? How do you make that come out? Take me through a strategy. If they're coming to you and say, "Hey, I want X, Y, and Z," How are you going to bring out that passion out of them to build a better marketing campaign for them?
Well, I think the first thing that internally we have to have it. Like you can't get it out of somebody and if you yourself don't have it. So,
Right.
and it's not even just me; it's our team. So as much as I speak about it's actually us. So there's others. We have 11 employees, and us as a team, we go out and help people. So, but from the client's end, I think a lot of what we do is really just gain alignment of the people that are within the firm. So oftentimes you have an owner or an executive group and a team of people behind it, and they all have an understanding of what the goal is or what their vision is, and getting them all onto the same track, if you will, is a part of that process. And so helping them to define who they are. We do an element of research, so we may do a survey or questionnaire or focus group with the customers or with the executive team or with the staff, and just see what people are thinking, and making sure that they're all, if there's a bit of a variance between them, just making sure that everybody knows what's going on. I think by and large people are pretty fair about things. So oftentimes what we do is, there's miscommunication or misunderstanding, and just
Right.
making sure that that's cleared up and that people choose that path. And so and a lot of it is just communication and just being keeping it simple. So.
Yeah, I know that from experience working with you guys. You guys are very good at keeping it simple, and simple for the people who are computer illiterate like myself. So that's always good. Now, you mentioned Asper School of Business in the intake, and you also mentioned your father. And how did those two correlate? What did you learn from your father that brought you towards business and marketing specifically?
Well, I think I mentioned earlier also about the roots of my vibe. Well, I think when you can't help but what you want is a function of your upbringing and a
Right.
function of your environment. So as I was growing up, my father worked in the airline industry, and we were very fortunate because he was one of the first people in the city to actually have a computer. So I was in the basement sort of playing around with computers all the time and testing things. And also, I watched him in business and just, kind of rubbed off on me. So, sorry, what was your question?
How do they correlate? How do the two
How
correlate?
does Asper and my father?
Yeah,
I guess
how
you
did
would
it lead
say.
you there?
Well, I guess the point is my father, and my school were sort of, and my family, not just my father, my
Right.
mother as well. They were contributors to my education, and so in some ways, and my father was contributed, and in others, my school. So I would go through school and learn theory, and
Right.
but at the same time I'm learning things like teamwork and how to work with other students and how to deal with profs and your workload of classes and all that kind of stuff. So I think that between the two, those were kind of instrumental to my education.
You mentioned as a kid you were quite an introvert,
Yes.
and you decided to get over that fear by going for and running for class president.
Yes.
How did you decide that would be the method to overcome?
Well, that was one piece. That was just the
Right.
start of it,
Right.
and it was I'm in front of a podium and scared.
Yeah.
So it was just you just kind of you just push yourself through that fear, and it just takes that one time, and then try again, and you might fail. I mean,
Right.
I didn't win the presidency, just to be clear, but I consider it a victory just because I tried. And,
Right.
and that was just the start. I mean, beyond that, my first job out of university was working in a sales and marketing department. So I was dealing with the dealers and different people and customer service and things like that. So I'm not normally a people person, but over the years it's now second nature. It's no problem.
Right.
But when I took a job in a new city, I moved to Calgary and took a sales job and had. I didn't know a single person in the whole city. I had a sales job, and they didn't give me a single client. I had to cold call people and start pounding the pavement. That's school of hard knocks. It was awesome, and to this day I have no fear of talking to anybody. And it's just it's just talking to people about who they are and what they need and solving problems. And it's been a lot of fun that way.
So as a business owner, have you learned more from your successes or more from your failures? Maybe just in life generally.
A little of both, I guess.
Yeah.
You sort of validate what your processes are through your successes. So
Right.
you learn that what to do right.
Right.
Your failures teach you what you've done wrong. So you know, it's kind of a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But you know, your failures teach you what not to do, and you sort of have to learn how to pick yourself up and move on. So.
That's a great answer. So where does 6P go from here? You got a new campaign coming up, I'm sure, in 2013, new
Sure,
year anyways, and you got a bunch of clients that you work with, and I'm sure that they're going to keep going with their service, but then you got some new clients coming along.
Sure.
So how do you market yourself as opposed to marketing other people? How do you market yourself to attract new clients?
Well, I'll say the number one way is just keeping our existing clients happy.
Right.
Our number one marketing method is referrals. Like our clients will refer other business owners and clients to us all the time, and you know, we don't. As funny as that sounds to say for an ad agency that should be advertising everywhere,
Right. Yeah.
it's true. I mean, it's just, you know, do right by people, and you know, that's been enough for us to date. And really, we have our growth and profit are not our motives. You know, doing good work for good people is, and so, you know, we're not looking to, you know, attract 100 clients every year. It's, you know, we have a capacity for a certain number of clients, and you know, we can't just scale that infinitely. So we just look for, you know, continuing what we do and you know, helping people along the way. So
how has social media helped you develop that sort of reaching out to different folks as well? Is it a tool that you guys can use tremendously? Is and I'm saying that, I guess, versus word of mouth, because that's sort of the old school that works, know it works, but social media has new devices.
Of course. And yes, we're quite comfortable in most, if not all of them, and we do use them. I would say that they're good. They've been very beneficial for us, as they are with most of our clients, in the sense of communicating with more. The productivity of communication is so much better, because, I mean, I have close to 500 friends on LinkedIn, for example, and if I put a post on there about this interview, for example, I can immediately let them know about an interview I just had. So I don't have to have 500 phone calls and update everybody what's going on all the time. So it's beneficial for that reason. So, but for every company, it's going to be different, and we just look at every company as a unique situation, and does it fit for them? For example, you know, businesses that are communicating to other businesses, well, LinkedIn's a great medium for that, but you don't want to use Facebook because it's a very personal environment. You don't, you know, it's not a, you know, you don't want to sell things through it per se. So you have to keep it in context, of course, and it has to be customized to every situation, every company, every industry. It has to be, you know, considered.
Is there a knack for a social media outlet that is a little bit more interpersonal, as opposed to the external, here you go cyber world, where you have event styles that meet and you can sit down and talk, as well as talk socially on social media aspects?
Well, sure, there's forums. It depends on what kind of interactivity. There's different kinds of mediums. Interestingly, you bring that up, because one of our recent projects we just launched with at Centralia, which happened a couple of weeks ago. We worked on with Protegra Technologies to launch a product called Protunity, which ultimately is a social platform similar to LinkedIn, but ultimately is intended to. It's not a quantity of communication. So I mentioned 500 people on LinkedIn. It's much more of an interpersonal sort of quality of connection. So we're very proud of that launch of a new brand. We did the name, we did the logo, we did the website, we did, you know, a trade show booth for the launch. We did a launch video. It was an awesome project, and you know, it's you know, it'll be launching over the next number of months. So.
Oh, that's good. Right here in Winnipeg.
Yeah, well, Protegra's out of Winnipeg. Yeah.
Oh,
so.
Wow. That's really good. That's really good. So, what else would you like to do for your community? I mean, I know the business side is there. I know it's a loaded question. Boom. But,
well, I'd like to repave every road.
Yeah. But what are some of the? I mean, and that's a good thought. I mean, what are some of the things that we know that Winnipeg is changing, right? And it's changing quite rapidly. Right in front of your building here, you have the new rapid transit.
Yeah.
So it's changing. Downtown's changing as well. What are some of the things that, as a marketer, we can kind of promote? How can we promote that change?
Oh, Well, I'd say the two things that come to my mind, and hopefully I remember the second one, because the first one's a big one, is even at Centralia I heard Winnipeg is poised to basically, we seemingly are the underdog.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good things happening in the city. And I just, making sure that people are ready for that positive change.
Right.
Because we won't be an underdog for very long.
No.
With all the good news stories happening in this province. I mean, we've had, we just went through one of the biggest financial turmoils in this century.
Right.
And this province really is coming out of that as a boom province.
Right.
And people are looking at us as stars. And that's one thing. And the other one is just, that's kind of the big picture. But the little one is just, for me, is to look outside your window and just see what you can do to help people and
Right.
your community and those that are around you. So things like another cause that we work with is Clean Your Green, which is basically, we look around our building and there's, trash or there's things that need to be kept up, like the garden or whatever. We don't worry about whether it's the city's job to do that. We'll retransplant the flower bed, or we'll help with landscaping, or just going along the river, because on the other side is the river here, so
Right.
just cleaning that up. So just looking outside our own window and just trying to help them as much as we can, and just ultimately choosing causes that you believe in and helping them, whether it's through if you have the financial means, then give through financial. If you don't, then volunteer for them and just try to
Right.
give back.
Well, thank you, Paul. I really appreciate it. And I know that with 6P's Beacon of Success and Leading by Example, I think that we're in the right track.
I hope so.
Yeah, I really believe that.
Just every day, just come into work and try our best and
Yeah.
put our best foot forward and help people, help good people. That's really all we're trying to do. So
That's right. Thank you, sir.
no problem. Thank you, Troy.
So once again, you're here with the Vibe Show, and that's it for today. We thank Paul Provost for coming in and allowing us to come in and speak to him here at 6P. If you're looking for Paul and you want to come down and check out this fantastic building and fantastic setting to where 6P Marketing is, it's 421 Mulvey Avenue East. And where can we catch you, Paul, for online
6pmarketing.com.
and Twitter?
6pmarketing at.
It's all there. 6P Marketing.
Yeah, there's only one 6P Marketing.
Thank you very much, Paul.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Say kids, what time is it?
You're something else. Intensify the treatment.